In the late 15th century, Europe was abuzz with dreams of discovery. Christopher Columbus, an Italian navigator, believed he could reach Asia by sailing west across the Atlantic Ocean. With the support of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain, he prepared 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, ready to face the vast ocean. After more than 2 months at sea, on October 12, 1492, the cry of "Land" was heard. Columbus landed on an island in the Bahamas which he called San Salvador. Believing he had reached the East Indies, he named the native people Indians. But this was not Asia. This was a whole new world, the New World. Columbus's first encounter with the Taino people marked the beginning of an era. They exchanged gifts, pearls, feathers, and gold, but they also sowed the seeds of profound change. Columbus's voyage was not just a personal journey, but the spark that ignited a fever of exploration that brought European empires to this land of opportunity and challenge. From that moment on, the map of the world began to be redrawn, and the Americas entered a tumultuous chapter in history. As news of Columbus's new land spread throughout Europe, kingdoms awoke. America was more than a discovery. It was an opportunity to expand their power and wealth. Spain, France, and England quickly jumped into the race to conquer it, each with its own dream, ready to redraw the map of the world. Spain led the way. With its mighty fleets and conquistadors like Cortés and Pizarro, it set its sights on the gold and silver of Central and South America. The mineral deposits of Mexico and Peru made Spain the richest empire in Europe, but also marked the beginning of a ruthless exploitation of new lands. France took a different path. It headed north to the frigid lands of modern-day Canada. There, the French established fur trading posts with the natives, while also searching for the fabled sea route to Asia. Explorers like Samuel de Champlain brought with them a thirst for discovery and trade. England, though slower to arrive, set its sights on the eastern coast of North America. It dreamed of permanent colonies where people could build new lives. Future settlements like Jamestown and Plymouth would be testaments to this ambition, laying the foundations for an independent America. From these early steps, empires shaped the diverse landscape of the Americas. At first, Europeans and Native Americans shared and learned from each other, but land, resources, and ambition brought them to the brink of war. At the same time, Europeans' empires vied for power, leading to fateful changes. By the end of the 17th century, tensions had erupted into King Philip's War, 1675–1678. Led by the chieftain Metacom, or King Philip, Native American tribes resisted the invasion. The brutal war left thousands dead and destroyed many New England villages. By the end of the war, Native Americans had lost much of their land, and the English had consolidated control. As conflicts with the natives escalated, European empires also fought for control of North America. It culminated in the French and Indian War, 1754–1763, part of the global 7 Years' War. Britain and its colonies, along with some native tribes, faced off against France and its native allies. Fierce battles raged from Quebec to the Ohio Valley. In 1763, Britain emerged victorious, forcing France to cede almost all of its territory in North America, from Canada to the Mississippi River. Britain became the dominant power, but at the cost of a huge debt. To pay off its war debts, Britain imposed heavy taxes on the 13 colonies, from the Stamp Act, 1765, to the Tea Act, 1773. The colonists were angry not because of high taxes, but because they were not represented in the British Parliament. The slogan, "No representation, no taxation," was heard everywhere. Discontent spread, turning farmers, merchants, and artisans into potential revolutionaries. The climax of the outrage was the Boston Tea Party of 1773. colonists, disguised as Native Americans, threw hundreds of chests of British tea into Boston Harbor to protest the Tea Act. This action sparked a resistance movement. In 1774, the First Continental Congress met in Philadelphia, where representatives of the 12 colonies discussed a future of freedom. From there, America began to dream of independence. In 1775, the fuse was lit at Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts. When British soldiers attempted to confiscate the weapons of colonial militiamen, the first shots were fired, known as the first shot of the world. The American militia, though disorganized, fought fiercely, marking the beginning of a war for independence. The Second Continental Congress met in Philadelphia, appointed George Washington as Commander-in-Chief, and prepared for a protracted war. On July 4, 1776, a historic moment was born. In Philadelphia, the Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, drafted by Thomas Jefferson. This document not only declared the 13 colonies free from Britain, but also affirmed liberty and equality. All men are created equal. The Declaration inspired thousands of people, from farmers to merchants, to join the fight for a great cause. The war was not easy. In October 1781, the Virginia coast became the epicenter of the American Revolution. At Yorktown, the American-French forces, under the command of George Washington and French General Lafayette, surrounded the British forces led by General Cornwallis. American-French artillery pounded the British fort, pieces of the walls crumbling under the fire. The French fleet blocked Cornwallis's escape at sea. After several days of siege, Cornwallis raised the white flag of surrender. The Battle of Yorktown was more than a victory. It virtually ended British rule, opening the door to American independence. It was not until 1783 that the Treaty of Paris was signed, officially recognizing the United States of America as an independent nation. He withdrew his troops, ceding territory from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi River to the United States. From these small settlements, America was born, carrying the dream of freedom and democracy, ready to continue writing its story. From Columbus's voyage to the victory at Yorktown, America was born from the desire for freedom and perseverance. But the story doesn't stop there. Join us as we explore more fascinating chapters of American history. Subscribe, like, and share. Your thoughts in the comments. Which historical moment is your favorite? See you in the next video.